The free nations have to join forces to face this problem. Israel can contribute a lot to the defense of the freedom-loving people, but there are many elements in our society and also in Europe who look constantly for ways to harm the Jewish people and Israel, not realizing that with their behavior they are weakening their own defenses. The news media is always ready to put the blame squarely on Israel for anything that happens in the Middle East. For instance, when Israel responded to almost daily barrage of rockets from Gaza and invaded this place in order to put an end to it, the newspapers were telling unsubstantiated stories of massacre of the Gazan population, of killing children and women. Everybody believed it. Let's hear what Colonel Richard Kemp, the former ambassador to the United Nations, also former commander of British forces in Afghanistan, and an expert on warfare, has to say. Israeli forces in Gaza did more to safeguard the rights of civilians in a combat zone than any other army in the history of warfare. He made this statement October 16, 2009. Here I have to say it again. If God forbid Israel will not be there anymore, the whole Middle East will become one big training camp for terrorists. Modern Arab countries will get subverted. Iran will control the flow of oil to Japan, Europe, and many other countries, including the US. The world economy would be in shambles. With Iran, Pakistan, and Turkey having nuclear weapons, and later on also Libya and Syria and others, the whole world will be on the brink of Armageddon. A well-known and well-respected psychiatrist, Dr. Emmanuel Tanay, quoted from, gave us by far the best explanation of Muslim terrorist situation. The name of his article is German View of Islam. German View of Islam. Pretty soon I'm coming to an end, you'll be able to take a nap. I used to know a man whose family were German aristocracy prior to World War II. He owned a number of large industries and estates. I asked him how many German people were true Nazis, and the answer he gave has stuck with me and guided my attitude toward fanaticism ever since. Very, very few people were true Nazis, he said, but many enjoyed the return of German pride, and many more were too busy to care. I was one of those who just saw the Nazis were a bunch of fools, so the majority just sat back and let it all happen. Then, before we knew, they owned us, and we had lost control, and the end of the world had come. My family lost everything. I ended up in a concentration camp, and the Allies destroyed my factories. We are told again and again and again by experts and talking heads that Islam is a religion. That Islam is a religion of peace, and that the vast majority of Muslims just want to live in peace. Also, this unqualified assertion may be true. It's entirely irrelevant. It's meaningless fluff, meant to make us feel better and meant to somehow diminish the specter of fanatics rampaging across the globe in the name of Islam. The fact is that the fanatics rule Islam at the moment in history. And this moment in history, it's the fanatics who march. It's the fanatics who wage any one of 50 shooting wars worldwide. It's fanatics who systematically slaughtered Chinese, Christian, or tribal groups throughout Africa and are gradually taking over the entire continent in an Islamic wave. It's the fanatics who bomb, behead, murder, or execute honor killings. It's the fanatics who take over mosque after mosque. It's the fanatics who jealously spread the stoning and hanging of rape victims and homosexuals. The hard quantifiable fact is that the peaceful majority is a silent majority and is coward and extraneous. Not important. Communist Russia was comprised of Russians who just wanted to live in peace. Yet the Russian communists were responsible for the murder of about 20 million people. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. China's huge population was peaceful as well, but Chinese communists managed to kill a staggering 70 million people. The average Japanese individual prior to World War II was not a war-mongering sadist. Yet Japan murdered and slaughtered its way across Southeast Asia in an orgy of killing that included the systematic murder of 12 million Chinese civilians, most killed by sword, shovel, and bayonet. Who can forget Rwanda, which collapsed into butchery? Could it not be said that the majority of Rwandans were peace-loving? History lessons are often incredibly simple but blunt, yet, for all our powers of reason, we often miss the most basic and uncomplicated of points. Peace-loving Muslims have been made irrelevant by the fanatics. Peace-loving Muslims have been made irrelevant by their silence. Peace-loving Muslims will become our enemy if they don't speak up. Because, like my friend from Germany, they will awaken one day and find that the fanatics own them, and the end of their world will have begun. Peace-loving German, Japanese, Chinese, Russians, Rwandan, Bosnians, Afghans, Iraqis, Palestinians, Somalis, Nigerians, Algerians, and many others have died because the peaceful majority did not speak up until it was too late. As for us, watching it all unfold, we must pay attention to the only group that counts, the fanatics who threaten our way of life. The fanatics who threaten our way of life. It's a known fact that because of the infighting of Bnei Israel, our holy temple was destroyed, and we lost our promised land, and subsequently were dispersed all over the world to suffer 2,000 years of persecution. We could have been by now a nation of at least 200 million strong. Also today, there's a lot of disagreements among Jewish factions, Sinat Chinam, having Muslim enemies and still many anti-Semites. We have to learn how to bridge these differences which separate us and project a unified front. In addition to lamenting the destruction of our holy temple, we have to get together to work on preventing other catastrophes, and Hashem will help us. Thank you.